Enaya, her mother shouted. Enaya, get those to your uncle, as she proceeded to give her daughter a bag of groceries. Enaya takes them and dishes out a very subtle grunt, but she graciously takes the bag and gets on her bicycle. She rides swiftly as always, as if someone is following her. She was never a person who likes things smooth and easy. She likes things quick, and the destination is the race. She rides from the undercity, and the scenery changes from poor and decaying buildings to more modern, nice-looking ones. From tents and vandalized stop signs to trees and mailboxes, and dogs shitting and people picking up the remains. But don't be fooled, her uncle isn't that rich. He just has a watch shop in the good part of town. He was doing well for himself though. Hey Ammo, Enaya shouted as she barged into the shop. These are for you from mother. Her uncle was steadily fixing an old watch and didn't flinch until he got the last part in place. Thank you, dear, he said. He quickly took out an orange and started peeling it. He separated a slice and gave it to Enaya. Times are changing, my dear, he said in a very picturesque kind of way. Enaya amusingly says, 'Cause you are a watchman and you work with watches? Her uncle grunts, listen child, something is happening. Be careful out there. Enaya dishes out a Shur Ammo, means uncle, goes out and rides her bicycle back to the undercity. Back home her mother was making dinner. It was just another day, like always. Enaya opens her biology book. She is studying to become a doctor. Enaya is smart, not book smart, but smart. Even though she thinks of herself as dumb and can't memorize anything, she got numerous diseases memorized and is well on her way to understand all of the machinery of the body. Pathology was her thing. She likes to understand how diseases work and how they disrupt the system of the human body. After dinner, she got onto her bed and slept tight. Great things were waiting for her. While she slept, little did she know that Khalid had started working on the machine and that Adam was starting to remember that the undercity was going to hell, and it's the kind of hell that you don't want to live in. The next day she wakes up and goes to the university on her bike. The ride was normal and nothing different. In class she hears Adam talking about chaos and she is bored out of her mind. English writing was an elective she mistakenly took. She didn't talk to many people. She doesn't even know the names of half, maybe all of her class. She knew Maher. They sort of had a relationship once, then all went to hell and they decided to be friends. There is always this airy doomed feeling when they are together, not knowing if they are ever coming back together, but they are so dependent on each other that they can't fall apart. She meets him outside. Hey beautiful, he says in a cheesy manner. Don't call me that, I'm really not, she replies. Hey ugly, he continues. That's more like it, she says with relief. Maher is doing pre-med like Enaya. She then continues to ask him, I didn't see you yesterday, what's up with you disappearing lately? Promise you won't tell, he says. Tell what? Okay, I promise, she replies. I've been playing the games lately, he said proudly. No way, I never understood them. I have no idea what they are about, she said, wanting an explanation. I'm playing the games. It's the best way to get money, he said with excitement. What are the games? She asks. That's too complicated to explain, Maher says. Please, I could actually use the money. I have no idea how I'm going to pay my tuition, she said assertively. Okay. Imagine you are playing with people like puppets, and it's in real life and you are affecting them. But it's all like a chess game. You can affect their memories, how they respond to things, and even how they act. I don't understand how this is possible. You actually affect the person? Currently the game has been crazy. We are playing on the highest stakes possible. We are playing for Adam. But again, how is this possible? And who is Adam, she asks. The one who controls the simulation we are living in. And everyone is playing the game so that he remembers everything, he answered. So we are living in a simulation. But again, you have been dodging my question. How is this possible? She asks. They teach you all that in the beginning, and I haven't been dodging your question. You're just too eager. It's complicated. It has to do with quantum entanglement, he says. Okay, we studied quantum entanglement in physics. It's the cosmic connection between particles, where the spin of an electron light years away affects the spin of another. But I still don't get how this has to do with the memory or games, Enaya exclaimed. The universe is not local, meaning electrons can affect each other from a distance. What are our memories and our thoughts other than electrical pulses going through the brain? And that electron in the electrical pulses are entangled with things in the world and entangled with everything. And as you said, to change the spin of one electron, the other spin changes, Maher says. That's just too complicated to comprehend and to think you can manipulate and call it a game, she says. There is a supercomputer that does it for us, and it does all the computing and predicts the future. We really live in a deterministic world that can be computed, Maher said. Okay, you are playing with forces I do not want to be part of, but give me an example of the game. How does it work? And I asked. Right now the game has been all about antibiotics and how the body fights pathogens. Adam's going to get poisoned with salmonella and E. coli, and we need to nudge his body cell by cell so that his body fights it. This is happening worldwide with millions of people playing. Wait, what? His body, how to fight it? There are angels and demons and stakes are high. I still can't comprehend how this works. Please explain more. Remember the phrase, it takes a village to raise a child? Well, in this simulation we live in, it takes the whole world, everything going into a specific pattern to make something happen. We take a pill that connects us to the computer, and the computer entangles us with a part of Adam's body. Your brain and the electrical pulses in your brain become entangled with Adam. And we try our best to imagine the scenarios of which things happen, like pathogen entering the cell. We research the mechanism, and the more accurate we are with our understanding, the more likely we are going to be effective. Demons, on the other hand, make changes and mutations, and they really fuck things up. Like, not only are they playing on Adam, but they are playing on us as well, mutating our understanding of the mechanism and changing it ever so slightly so that we miss a sentence and don't read a particular word. The game requires huge amounts of willpower to focus and understand. So right now in Adam's case, we lost to the demons and he is going to get salmonella and E. coli. We also affect what happens in real life, by the way, like actual events. And in the last game we lost to the demons, and no matter how hard we try, he still takes a bite from the burger. But what we can change is how his body reacts to pathogens. The demons are trying to let the diseases win. We're trying to make the body fight it, Maher said. This is just strong on so many levels. Like, the ethical implications of this are unbelievable. I'm out. I really want to stay the hell away from it. But you see, Adam controls our destiny, and we have a say in what happens to us. That's how the world works now. And there is a lot of money, especially if you are studying medicine or something in the sciences, Maher said, understanding that it is unethical at all. No thanks, I gotta bounce. I have a shit ton of homework to do. Enaya was confused on what to do when she was leaving, and she, in a very awkward way, kisses Maher on the cheek to say goodbye. Okay, here you go. After she gave him the kiss. Just promise you'll be careful. Maher was quite thrilled and said, I promise. Okay, so a little background on what is happening. This story is happening in the same timeline as the big laboratory, the story that precedes it. And we hear a lot about Adam and him eating the burger, which is explained in the story afterwards in the big laboratory. And even Adam was in her class. Like, it's something that you shouldn't have missed. Like, he's even in her class, but Anaya doesn't know him at all. And she doesn't, it's not about not knowing him, it's about her not comprehending that someone in her university is controlling the reality as it is. So a little background, since you are new to this story. In the big laboratory, you understand that Adam controls reality with his mind, with his imagination. And all of the games are happening so that you will understand more as we read more. But all of the games that are happening, they are happening in a very secret, convoluted way, where millions of people are playing it without even knowing that they are playing it. So let's continue. The story takes a turn right now, and it's kind of a harsh turn. Let's continue. It was getting dark, and Enaya and Maher spoke for too long. On her bike, she starts seeing some weird things happening on her way home, like people talking to themselves. She passes the road to the upper part of town, and now she is headed to the undercity, when a car glitches and appears out of nowhere and crashes on the side of the road that catches on fire. Enaya quickly went to see if someone was inside of it, and it was empty. What the fuck is going on? How am I seeing those things? What is going on? Enaya tightens her helmet and continues her journey back. I just need to reach home, she says to herself. A figure appeared out of nowhere while she was speeding on her bike. It was like a shadow that passed her and said, not so fast. Enaya stopped the bike abruptly. What the hell was that? She tried to move forward, but a guy was standing on the end of the road. It was dark and the street light was broken. Okay, I'll just move past him, Enaya said to herself. She starts pedaling when he suddenly appears in front of her directly. She stops the bike and abruptly shouts, "Watch it," he says. Oh dear, you have been so naive. And now you know. Enaya tried to move past him, but as she moved her bike to the other lane, he appeared in front of her. I'm hallucinating, she shouted, and suddenly the man was gone. She continued her trip to her house crying. She enters the house and her mother sees her. What's wrong? She asks. A car appeared out of nowhere and a guy stopped me and I don't know. Her mother says, calm down. I'll make you tea. Go change your clothes. Enaya went to her room and started changing when the guy appeared in her room. Don't shout, Enaya always peed her pants. And she was about to cry to her mother when the guy moved his hand and Enaya's mouth was shut. Enaya struggled to say a word. He tells her, listen, in this world, tea makes you forget. Are you calm now? Can we talk now like civilized human beings? He lifted his hand and Enaya could talk again. Civilized what? You are not a human being, you are the devil. And just as she was trying to call her mother again, he raised his hand to shut her up again. You're a feisty one, aren't you? Just remember, in this particular world you are living in, momentarily, tea makes you forget. And the guy disappears. Her mother enters the room. Why aren't you not dressed yet? Enaya was baffled about what to say. I'm getting dressed now. And she quickly puts on her shirt and went outside. The tea kettle was whistling. Tea is ready, her mother exclaimed. Enaya thinks to herself, tea doesn't make you forget. Why would he appear out of nowhere and tell me that tea makes you forget? But tea doesn't make you forget. Her mother hands her the tea. Enaya takes a sip of it and forgets everything that has happened to her. Enaya, what was that about the man and the car? her mother asks. Enaya said, "Nothing, I forgot. It was nothing." The next day, Enaya went to the university. She went to her classes but did not see Maher. She rode her bike back home when a car glitches and crashes to the side. The man appears again, in the same fashion, but this time it was daylight. He tells her the exact same things, and she goes home crying. Her mother sees her. Not again. Her mother sighs. What happened now? Enaya, crying, rambled on about a car and a man just like last time. What is this? You're not joking. You are actually crying. What is this man and what is this car that you keep seeing? I think I'm hallucinating, Mom. Enaya exclaimed. Her mother said, "Go change your clothes. I'll make you some tea. Calm down." Enaya goes to the bedroom, and as she is changing, the man appeared. She tried to scream. The man silenced her. "Look, we don't have much time left. You are going to drink the tea. Write it down." I said, "Write it down." Enaya quickly got a pen and paper. "In this reality I'm living in, tea makes you forget." Her mother comes in. Tea is ready. Enaya drinks the tea again and forgets. The third time, so this is the third time. The third time, the same thing happens, but instead of telling her, "Not so fast," he tells her, "Deja vu, huh?" When he stops her, he says, "Trust me, you do not want to tell your mom. I need to do this the exact same way so that you remember and you don't drink the tea." Enaya reaches home, but this time she was just in shock and didn't cry. She enters the house. Her mother checks up on her. No man this time. Enaya has some memories back and understands the best course of action is to lie. "No," she says. "Good, I'm making tea. Go change your clothes." She goes to her room with everything feeling familiar, and she could anticipate the man showing up in her room. She reads the paper she wrote. When she goes outside, she says no to the tea. The moment she says no, time stops. Her mother frozen and the TV froze. The man says, "Now that I have your consent, time is going to move differently from now on. We don't have much time anyways. Khalid is going to start with the machine and Adam is starting to remember. Enaya is actually scared. Things are happening all of a sudden and she doesn't understand what is going on." And I says, "Who is Khalid? Who is Adam? I don't know them. I didn't sign up for the games. I swear I didn't tell anybody about them. Please just go away." The man said, "Oh dear, there is no turning back. You know now. Plus your name is in the DNA code." And I replied, "I don't know." And I said, "No to the game." "And what do you mean my name is in the DNA code?" "E, glutamate. N, asparagine. A, alanine. Y, tyrosine. A, alanine. 26S protease. Responsible for degradation of toxic misfolded proteins and attenuation of protein aggregation," the man said. And I exclaimed, "What the hell does that even mean?" The man was silent for a bit and then he said, "You have been chosen. You are the one responsible for getting back Adam, his memories. He has been suffering from a form of Alzheimer's, where tau proteins were building up in his brain, and it is your job to degrade them. But how can you control time? How can you control me? How can you do all of this?" And I yelled, "You think you are in the games now, but you're really not. This is real life, baby. And what is about to happen is similar to the games, but with stakes much higher. I cannot emphasize enough. The world hangs in the balance, and you need to literally save the world," the man said. "Who are you? Are you the devil?" Enaya said. "I was once a righteous man, but now my destiny is to help this world be born again. I'm like a glitch in a system that's trying to heal itself. I'm like polymerase, fixing the DNA code." "What do I call you?" Enaya asked. "Metatron." "Wait, are you seriously Googling me?" he says. "That's an angel name. You're not an angel. Call me Max, or the devil if you want." he said. I'm going to call you the devil, Enaya said. Now we must get to work. You're going to live a series of lives, and time is not going to work like normal time works. You're going to find the solutions for each life, and you are going to keep living it until you find the problem and find the solution, Metatron said. Enaya was checking on her frozen mother and waving her hand in front of her eyes. You can literally control people and freeze time. Why can't you do it and find the solutions yourself? Enaya said. My dear, quantum entanglement. I'm not of this world. I can control things, but some things just need to happen the old-fashioned way. You know, with crazy time traveling and stopping time and living a life 1,000 times until you get it right. You really are the devil, Enaya said. My dear, I'm sorry. I'm actually condemning you to hell. But this is the only way it must be, Metatron says. After a pause, Metatron exclaimed, let's start. And he clapped his hands, and Enaya wakes up in her bed. Enaya wakes up. She gets out of bed thinking everything is fine and the devil went away. Her mother making soy and chickpeas. She sits on the table. Everything is okay, Mom. Everything is okay, Mom? Like nothing happened? You're not frozen? She says in a dim voice. Everything is great, dear. I'm making breakfast. Her mother puts the dishes on the table. The devil appears again. Adam thinks that chickpeas and soy and lentils have anti-nutrients in them. Enaya was shocked and startled. God, you can't just appear out of nowhere like that. Enaya's mother says, who are you talking to, my dear? Enaya said, no one, Mom. You can talk to me in your brain. Just think and I'll listen. The devil said. Enaya started thinking. I've researched this before. Soy has serpines, serine protease inhibitors that act like trypsin inhibitors. Trypsin being the enzyme needed to digest food and proteins. But cooking lowers the amount of trypsin inhibitors, and studies have shown that they actually have some benefits like anti-cancer properties. The devil said Adam thinks it's bad for you. Enaya thinks they are in a sense bad for you. They are anti-nutrients and the body cannot digest them properly. So the bacteria in your gut handles the job. It's like you are meant for this job. Enaya eats the chickpeas and soy and wakes up the next day with the same meal on the table. Enaya eats it again and wakes up the next day with the same meal. Enaya exclaims, stop making me live the same thing again and again. I found the problem and I found the solution. The devil said, but you didn't articulate it. After the repetition, Enaya's mind started hyper-focusing on the anti-nutrients. She kept thinking of the bad things that come from soy and chickpeas. Her stomach started to get upset and she started feeling bad the moment she started to think of the negative things. She wakes up the next day with the same meal and she said no to it. And so she wakes up the next day with the same meal and she said no to it. She became really hungry and started starving. What do you want from me? I don't understand. Enaya said. Metatron replies, articulate. Enaya said, food is similar to the energy we give it. If you have bad thoughts for the food, it will become poison. If you think of the good things like the nutrition it gives you, it becomes healthy. Everything has nutrients and anti-nutrients. We just have to find the balance that makes us healthy and cook the food and prepare it like fermenting it and cooking it properly. Metatron said, spoken like a true mystic sage. Good. Now you understand the game. Well, it's not a game. It's really you untangling untangled aggregate harmful tau proteins from Adam's brain. Now you are understanding that Adam's consciousness dictates our reality. You keep asking who is Adam. I will finally tell you. He is a real boy that goes to the same university as you. But in reality, Adam is just indicative of the human being, where his imagination and thoughts dictate reality and make a path for the future. I'm a glitch in a system that is trying to repair itself. You are the vessel of which the system gets repaired. We live in a body and the DNA is repairing itself, preparing to grow and create a better future. Khalid is making a new machine of life that is better than the old one. It's just the way the world is getting better with every iteration. Now it is time to continue on. Or the devil, like Enaya likes to call him, claps his hand and Enaya wakes up with a paintbrush in her hand and a canvas in front of her. Metatron appears. In one reality, Adam kills himself because he can't compete with other people on social media. Enaya then said, okay, I get it. It's not just Adam that is with me in university. It's all the Adams of humans of the world. Yes, that's exactly it. Okay, so what should I do? Paint a picture worthy of social media. Enaya starts painting, and she paints a mediocre picture. She puts it on social media with no likes. She starts seeing the competition and she started noticing a pattern. They are all so beautiful, with amazing skills, and they don't make mistakes. Metatron says, try again. Enaya starts painting again and again and again. But no matter how hard she tried, she could never compete with the people on social media. I don't understand. Are they genetically modified to look that good and be this talented? She exclaimed. Enaya tried all her life and she became good with painting. But the algorithm won't give her the attention she deserves. And it became a loop of no matter how much talented and good she becomes, the algorithm doesn't give her anything and doesn't boost her artwork. She tried everything. She started starving for money. She became broke and works as a waiter, making ends meet. She made videos and talked about facts, but the algorithm wouldn't boost her. Every time she finishes a painting, she goes on the social media and there is a painting 100 times better and more realistic than hers. There are even the stupid abstract paintings that get the attention because the artist is beautiful and artsy in the process. Enaya has lost all her life trying to get the attention she deserves and finally kills herself. She wakes up and says to Metatron, I killed myself. Metatron says, indeed you did. It's not humanly possible to reach their level of talent. It is as if they are genetically modified or possessed to be that good or to be that perfect. The algorithm only rewards them. The solution is in the social media. The way it is set up to attract people's attention and make them change who they are for the sake of being liked is wrong. Social media claims that it connects people, but I have never felt more alone on it. People are so fake on it, and they make you feel that their likes and attention is invaluable. They don't give a chance to anyone without green or blue or colored eyes. And they don't even look at you if you don't have a beautiful body. No matter how hard I tried, it's a fake world that pulls people apart. And it's like they suck the serotonin and dopamine out of you and give it to the people who are perfect. Change how social media works and maybe we can save Adam. I feel like a failure. Metatron says, thank you, dear. You are not a failure. Adam just needed someone to feel as he felt so that he can rest. Metatron claps his hand and Enaya wakes up again. She gets up. What's wrong this time? Metatron appears and says, go outside. Enaya goes outside and sees nothing different. She takes a walk and sees the grocery shop owner. She takes a walk and sees the grocery shop owner dusting the pavement. She takes a closer look and she sees a guy buying a tuna can. She continues her walk and starts to get the bad side of the undercity where misery reigns. She sees people eating rats, people begging for money. She keeps walking and starts noticing all of the habits of people, like throwing trash on the ground, fighting and making trouble. She goes back home, she spends the day studying, and she goes back to sleep. She wakes up the next day and takes the walk again. She sees the same exact things again. People doing the same things. The shop owner dusting, the guy buying the tuna can, people eating rats and fighting, and the trash building up. So is the next day and the day after that. Metatron appears. Notice something? Enaya answers, people are doing the same thing again and again. Is that a Russian doll kind of thing, where I'm living the same day again and again? Metatron replies, no dear, this is life. People doing the same thing again and again. Enaya said, but they are stuck in their ways. It's unhealthy. They are living wrong. Metatron replies, don't be so judgmental. You don't know what is going on in people's lives. Enaya said, no matter what is going on, they are doing it wrong. People need to change and adapt to new things, do things differently every once in a while. Metatron touches Enaya's heart and she felt extreme sorrow. She wakes up the next day with her mother gone. She searches everywhere for her, but she doesn't find her. She felt extreme sorrow again. After a month, her uncle died and she felt extreme sorrow also. Enaya got a job as a barista. She didn't have much money. She found herself every day eating the same tuna can, even though she knew it's unhealthy because of mercury levels. But she felt so much sorrow in her heart that she didn't care. She started smoking and repeating the same thing again and again. She found solace in repetition, and even when she was offered a new job, she refused. She liked the repetition because it didn't have sorrow in it. Enaya died, living the same day again and again. Enaya wakes up in her bed. Metatron appears. Never judge people on how they are living. You don't know what they have experienced in their lives or their past lives. Enaya was getting fed up. The sorrow she felt from the last life she lived was getting to her. What do you want now? She shouted. Metatron looks at her and says, we are only getting started. Enaya shouted, get the hell away from me. I didn't sign up for this. Metatron says, be patient, Enaya. He claps his hand and she wakes up again in her bed. I don't want this anymore, Enaya shouted. Her mother comes in the room. Do you say anything, dear? Nothing, Mom, she says. She gets up and goes to the kitchen. Her mother prepared breakfast. She sits down and as she about to eat, Metatron appears. She poisoned your food, he says. Enaya by now got used to Metatron and didn't react. She just thought, go away. Enaya by now got used to Metatron and didn't react. She just thought, go away. And she takes a bite of the food and dies. She wakes up the other day. What was that? That was completely unnecessary, Metatron says. Understand what is happening. Enaya replies, understand what my mom would not poison me. It's just one of your games. Metatron says, it's not about you. It's about Adam. Understand what is happening. And Enaya goes out again and takes a bite of the food and dies. This has to stop, she cried. She went outside and asked her mom, what are you putting in the food? Her mother replied, I'm using coconut oil this time. Do you like it? Enaya thought, I don't understand. Does Adam have a coconut allergy? But that wouldn't kill him. It would cause anaphylaxis. That could kill him. But treatment with epinephrine would work fine. What is killing Adam? Metatron asked. His epinephrine. Does he have any at home? Okay, next. Metatron claps his hand and Enaya wakes up in her bed. I don't understand how this is helping Adam. You said they are making a new machine. How is finding out that one Adam, meaning a guy somewhere in the universe, has coconut allergy help make the machine? Metatron answers, my dear, you are untangling proteins that were misfolded, and the death of a child from his coconut allergy caused a protein to misfold in Adam's brain. Adam is connected to the whole world. Aren't you seeing the pattern? Someone kills himself. Someone dies from a life of sorrow. Someone dies of an allergy. All of these are causing misfolded proteins, and you are reliving them, finding closure for them. Or else they would have all died a death that is useless, that is unfelt, that is unseen. She goes outside and a butcher subdues Enaya and slaughters her in the most brutal way. Enaya wakes up screaming, "That was too much," she yells. Every soul needs redemption. Every soul needs peace. Every soul needs to be felt, even the animals that die for us every day, Metatron exclaimed. Enaya wakes up, but it was different this time. It felt like she was back to her timeline. It was a Saturday. Enaya calls Maher. "Hey, what's up, ugly?" Maher answers. "I need to see you. Something weird is going on in my life, and I can't explain it." "Sure, meet me at our spot in 10. "Okay." Enaya puts on some clothes and gets her helmet. Their spot is a rooftop of Maher's house. It's just on the edge of the Undercity. It was still daylight, and she sneaks inside of the building and goes to the rooftop to find Maher there. She hugs him and she wants to cry, but tears weren't coming out of her eyes. She wanted to yell, but her voice didn't let her. She wanted to articulate what was happening to her, but it was just too much to say. Maher says, "What's wrong?" Enaya takes a breath and starts talking. "When you told me about the games, a guy appeared out of nowhere. He says his name is Metatron, but I think he is the devil himself. He can read minds and stop time and make me live these horrible realities. I lived whole lives in the past day, like literally a whole life, and I died, then I lived again, then I died, then I lived again. He says my name is in the DNA code, and I'm 26S protease, responsible for degrading tau proteins." Maher intervenes. "Wait, you are the one that has been helping us out. No way, you are basically saving humanity if you didn't know." Enaya shouts, "Well, I didn't ask for it, and the devil is fucking with my brains." Maher says, "But you have to continue. We are losing badly. Adam is not eating, and he is becoming weaker, and the demons are going to kill Anna, and we can't do anything about it." Enaya says, "Who is Anna?" Maher replies, "Anna helps Karim. Karim is the guy trying to understand the machine, how it works. Anna is like his immune system." Enaya says, "So let me get this straight. Khalid is the one building the new machine." Maher intervenes. "Yeah, and the demons aren't happy about it, because the new machine gets rid of a lot of loopholes in the system that made the demons win for so long." Enaya then says, "And this machine is the machine of life." Maher says, "Yes, it's HAL, the artificial intelligence that rule over us. It's like a machine that distributes energy to the good, an end-all be-all machine that will get us to a future that is good, and not a future of destruction. Because the way things are going, we are all doomed to a future of destruction." Enaya said, "Future of destruction? Things were good, things were stable. Things seemed good before. You were called to take more responsibility. That's the nature of things, I guess. We think things are good when you are naive, but in reality a lot of shit happens behind the scenes, and to make everything look normal. Haven't you noticed that our generation has little to no energy to do anything? That our energy is being sucked by social media that plans to divide us and make us feel miserable and lonely instead of connecting you with people? Haven't you noticed that people barely have money to get by, and there are no jobs in the market? If there is a job, it's taken by AI, and we don't even have the energy to do the job itself. We are facing a huge environmental crisis and an energy crisis. Not only an actual energy crisis, but energy of the soul crisis, where we are being sucked of the energy by screens and an environment meaning our food, our addiction to coffee and energy drinks, our endless seeking of any cusp of hope makes us barely want to get out of bed. We need you to keep helping Adam. Whatever you're doing is helping. He is really weak now and fragile, but we can do it. We can all reach the better future that we deserve. Enaya replies, Metatron didn't give me any other job. Maher then replies, then come with me to the games. I need your help. Enaya and Maher go to the game center. It's like an arcade where you go through a back door and get to a whole other center underground. Enaya and Maher enter a capsule. A machine scans their eyes. 2 pills come out. Here we go. Maher says. They take the pill and Enaya's face lit up. It's a bit psychedelic at first. Then the wall disappeared and she sees what Adam's seeing. It is as if they are in the room with him. It looked like Adam was in a house. He couldn't move for some reason. Someone was reading Arabic poetry and 2 girls were talking about the COVID pandemic. Maher says it must be something in the smoke. Enaya says no, look at his ace-2. It's going down like crazy. His heart rate is up. Maher then said it's corona, they are giving him COVID. Enaya then says, okay, we need the correct response to it. We can't let his body fight it incorrectly. We can't let interleukin 6 go up. We need the correct interferons to fight off the virus. Maher says, which interferon do we need? Enaya says, interferon alpha. Maher says, doctors do not recommend administration of interferon alpha. Enaya replies, we are not injecting it. We are pushing the body to make it. The virus is using the antibodies to replicate. I told you, hold off on interleukin 6. We need to fight it directly. It's now up to the millions of people playing. They started to see people all over the world playing. Some playing a video game that is totally unrelated to what is happening to Adam, but is linked to the virus entry to the cell. Someone playing Tetris with his building blocks getting stacked. Fuck, we are losing, Enaya says. Maher says, wait for it. The computer starts explaining. Interferons are proteins released by cells in response to virus entry, and they hinder virus replication. Interleukins are glycoproteins produced by leukocytes that regulate the immune system. Enaya says it's a balance of inflammation and anti-inflammation. We need the correct dose of each. The Tetris game finally got a straight row, and all of the building blocks got cleared. The guy who was playing Call of Duty lost, which was good for Adam. The people started understanding what was needed from them. Adam regained control and didn't get COVID. Maher cheers. The machine gives them glimpses of the future. Adam needs to eat. He didn't eat the apple. Let's hope he eats the chocolate brownie. Adam didn't eat and Zaza came in. Maher says, what the hell? It's the Antichrist. So a little background. Again, all of this is happening in the timeline in the story that precedes at the big laboratory. And now Adam is going to a ride with the actual Antichrist. Because literally, like, they are making a new machine and it is on a cusp of a new world. So an Antichrist is very suitable for this place and time. So let's continue. When everything cooled down a bit and Adam went to a ride with the Antichrist downtown to paint graffiti on the wall, Maher and Enaya stood there waiting for something to happen. Maher says the game is like the ultimate democracy. We get a say to what happens to us. Enaya continues, it's extremely unethical. Like, look at Adam, he's devastated. And he understands his part in the world. Imagine how much pressure he is under. Let alone understanding that people control his thoughts and movements and what happens to his body. Maher says, but it's what he was meant for. It's his destiny he is fulfilling. Enaya says, sometimes we don't deserve what was meant for us. Then Zaza invites him to his house. He's doing something, Maher says. What do the demons really want? Like, why are they going into so much trouble? Maher asks. Enaya says, I've learned from recent events with Metatron that sometimes suffering is all you see in this world, and some people just want to see the world burn, the world to end, and they want their suffering to be felt by the world. Also money. The computer just gave me the answer. They're doing it to get drilling on oil in the undercity. You're kidding me, right? What would happen to our homes? Maher says, I guess if they win, all of the undercity will turn into drilling sites to extract oil. Adam reaches the house and meets Sabrina, a prostitute that Zaza got for him. Sabrina takes off her clothes. Enaya says, okay, someone is aroused, but there must be something behind it. How is his stats? Maher says normal. His heart rate is up, but that's because there is a naked woman in front of him. Wait, interleukin 17 is up. Enaya asks, what increases interleukin 17? Maher researches, damn it, it's HIV. Enaya says, how do we send a message to Adam? You already did. We just need the rest of people to understand and for Adam to realize that this is all a simulation. Adam starts asking her about things in the Bible and telling Sabrina about something called ALA and the gene Delta 32. What the hell is he talking about? Maher says. Enaya says, whatever floats his boat, I guess. It's good that we didn't lose this one, or our homes would have been gone. It isn't over. Khalid still needs to finish the machine. Enaya and Maher finished, and they stared at each other. So, what do you want to do, ugly? Maher says. Enaya says, you actually turn me on when you say that. A small kiss on the lips, and they looked at each other until the capsule turned red and the computer said, please get out of the capsule. Maher says, just my luck. Maher then continues, do you want to get something to eat? Enaya says, sure, I'd love to. They passed by the arcade and went to a vendor and got hot dogs. I'm sorry it's not a fancy restaurant, Maher said. That's literally what we can afford, Enaya replies. The money we got is all going to our tuition, and I'm not wasting any. Enaya continues. The good, or the angels as they call us in the game, get less money. Maher says, don't you think that's sick? Like, it's always the bad guys that get all of the money. Like, why? It's advertisement, I guess. Demons get more money because they got sponsored. They know evil people are more likely to spend money on advertised shit as if their leaders are using them, and it's a cycle that gets them more money. Well, good people need to profit from advertisements as well, but I guess an advertisement that is good doesn't sell. Enaya and Maher have a nice night, talking, and Enaya goes back home. Sunday they all rested, and it was uneventful, and she waited till Monday to go to college. When she reaches there, she passes by Khalid in the university and goes to class. She had an English exam that she is absolutely going to flunk, but after everything that has happened to her, she was okay with it. But she started noticing people treating her differently. People were meaner to her. She goes down and sees Maher. What the hell is going on? Why are people so mean today? Word got out that you saved Adam, and the demons aren't letting it go. That's what you get, I guess. They can all screw themselves. She goes back home and her mother is also acting weird. She sleeps and wakes up the next day. Enaya, it's your uncle. He's not doing well. He's in the hospital. Her mother woke her up. She gets on her bike and rides swiftly to the hospital. She saves Khalid from a car passing by quickly, but she didn't even notice that she did. She goes into the hospital with a feeling of dread. She reaches his room and the nurses tell her that he is dead. Enaya was devastated. Morning came and it wasn't easy. The funeral was pretty tough on her. Enaya needed to drop out of college because her uncle was the one paying for it, and the money from the games weren't enough. And one day she came back home to see 3 guys and her mom waiting for her. "What's going on?" she said. One of the men closed the door behind her. "Sit down, Enaya, please," her mother said. "We're taking you to the hospital. You need professional help," her mother continued. "Professional what? Help with what?" Enaya said, baffled. "Remember when you were hallucinating and I could hear you talk to yourself in the bedroom, and you keep talking about demons and angels? You need professional help to help you get through this." Enaya shouted, "I was playing the games. You know that, Mom. Please don't do this. I know there are demons playing with your head now. Please don't do this." One of the men, "We can do this the hard way or the easy way." Enaya started resisting, so they gave her an injection of Valium and got her to the hospital. They did some blood tests on her while she was unconscious, and they left her to sleep. The next day she saw the doctor. From a glance she understood she is dealing with evil. He even looks evil. "Enaya, you understand why you are here?" The doctor arrogantly says. No, I don't. There is nothing wrong with me. I don't deserve this. You confessed you are having hallucinations, and your mom keeps telling us that you are speaking to yourself in the room. We need to address this before this becomes a chronic condition. I wasn't having hallucinations. Your mom said you came back home crying about a car that appeared out of nowhere and a man that is following you. So should I not believe your mom that only wants the best for you? My mom doesn't want what is best for me. It's the demons. You see demons, huh? You are a medical student, as I read in your paper. Don't you think this type of behavior warrants intervention? Your insistence on demons and things that are not real. I played the games and now people are after me," Enaya said. "So you think people are after you?" He wrote it down on the paper. "Please look. You must know of the games and Adam." The doctor bit his lip when he lied, and he said, "We know of the games, but we consider it as a delusion." There's no way Enaya understood that she was doomed, and there is nothing she can do. "So we must address the delusions," and he emphasized the word delusions. "I'm going to put you on antipsychotic drugs. Please don't put me on drugs. Please, I don't deserve this. Enaya, we are here to help you," the doctor said with a smug face. Enaya refused medications at first, and they forced her to take them. But she was forced the medications down her throat, and they locked her up in the hospital. In bed one day in her room, Metatron shows up. Enaya said, "Tell me this is one of your realities. I still can't comprehend that this is happening to me." Metatron replied, "I'm sorry, dear, this is real. Is that what I get for being good? You tortured me and sent me to a living hell. I don't deserve this. You broke me." Metatron replies, "But this is the path. You chose the righteous path of good, and it's not easy, but this is the way. Fuck your path and fuck your way." Metatron says, "Sometimes life does this to us, and we just have to learn to let go. It's life's way of renewal, to shed the past, to forgive our mistakes, to forgive other people's mistakes, and just let go." And Metatron disappears. After days in the hospital, her mother comes to see her. "How are you doing, dear?" "We want to get stronger and better," her mother said. Enaya replied, "Shut the fuck up, Mom. You know I don't deserve this. You know you didn't give me a chance. And now I'm on drugs and I'm locked up with my freedom gone. How the hell can we afford this in the first place? How can we afford the hospital, Mom? A gracious man offered to pay all of the hospital bills for you so you can get better. Mom, please understand those are demons. Stop it with the demon talk. You need to come back to reality. Please stop this. I don't need this. We all need help. This isn't helping. You're not helping." After a while, Inaya kept insisting on changing the doctor, and they eventually switched her doctors. The second doctor was way better and let her get off some meds, but they couldn't do much about Inaya's situation until Maher shows up. He talked with the doctor and she told him that the only way she can get out of this is that if her mother signs her out, and her mother is still refusing to let her go. What if she was my wife? Maher said to the doctor. It could work, the doctor replied. Maher got the papers ready and went to the hospital the next day. Hey ugly, how are you doing? Not doing that well. My mother is imprisoning me. I'm on meds that make me pee myself at night. Would you marry me? Stop it, Maher, I don't have time for this. I can let you out if you are my wife. Would you marry me? Inaya married Maher, and eventually when the paperwork was done, she left the hospital. Inaya played the games and made cattle not feel when they are going to be slaughtered. Apparently it made the meat more tender, so she made some money and went back to college. Inaya finished her degree and became a doctor. Thank you so much for making it this far. This is the first story. The second story, The Big Laboratory, is in my book. Please consider buying the book.